Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a review on the Smashbox Matte Exposure Palette. This is the second version that Smashbox released. I absolutely fell in love with the first one, and I actually didn't do a video on it because I was running behind, and then by the time I was going to get to it, I didn't see it on their website anymore or on the Sephora website. So I am going to be doing a video on this one. This is the newest one. I did get this just, I don't know, about a week and a half ago or two, and I've been using it, and I gotta say I'm actually not as impressed as I wanted to be. I do like the palette, don't get me wrong, I do like it, but it's just not as good as the first one was, which I actually thought it was going to be better, but I am going to grab the first one here, that way we can take a quick look. And I do think this one, the first one, is still available on the Nordstrom website. I'll try to find it and I'll link it down below. But this is the Matte Exposure Palette, the current one. It does come with a double-ended brush and with a full-size mirror. Now, immediately right off the bat, what I didn't like about the older one and about this one is that this part doesn't actually stand up. You would have to kind of force it, and hopefully you guys were able to hear that, but because it's very, very thick cardboard, when you do that, I feel like it's cracking and like it's eventually going to fall apart on me. Of course, only time will tell if that's accurate or not, but that's just how I feel, and I don't like the fact that it just doesn't stay open. The mirror is a full size, so that's good, but again, just keep in mind that it's not very convenient the way the mirror and the lid here work, in my opinion. Now, in terms of the brush is okay. It's definitely not the best brush I've ever used, but it works. You have this side right here, which is good at packing color, and this one here, which is like a liner brush. Now, this would be good for a beginner, somebody that doesn't necessarily have a lot of makeup or brushes already, but when I buy something like this, and I think most people, when they buy something like this, they already have brushes, and otherwise they probably wouldn't be going for such an extreme palette. So the brush is good, but not something to rave about. Now, in terms of the colors, you do get a good variety of shades. The reason I was very, very interested at first was because these colors right here on this side seem like they would be great for the fall. And then you have some very nice purple hues right here, and obviously here you have your basics. So what I'm going to do is bring the palette up close as I do usually, do some swatches, and at the end I'll give you guys my overall verdict on the palette. Okay, so here's what I went ahead and did. I went ahead and swatched these 7 shades on this hand, and then the remaining 7 on my other hand. And hopefully you guys will be able to see with the swatches why I just wasn't very thrilled about this. Okay, so the first shade that we have right here is Spice. This is actually a good shade. I do like this one. This was my favorite of the entire palette. I will say though that most of the shades here did have to be swatched twice. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I typically just swatch, do one swipe, and that's it. But in order for me to actually be able to get enough color on here to be able to, for you guys to be able to see it on camera, most of these had to be swatched, actually all of them had to be swatched at least twice. There was a few that I had to do 3 swipes on. So this first one right here again is Spice. Then we have Desert. Then we have Topal. Now, I did struggle with these two to swatch, but even though they are very light tones and they're used for blending purposes, still just they were a little bit patchy and just overall not very pigmented. Now this shade right here you actually will not be able to see. It's one of the bigger shades. It is in the shade Wheat. I'm trying to move my hand to see if you guys can see it a little bit, but it's a very, very neutral shade. This one right here is Blackberry, which is pretty much a brown with a very, very light purple undertone. This one was one of the most, or probably the most pigmented out of the entire palette. Then we have Sumatra and Suede. This, Sumatra, this one right here, I did find to be a bit patchy. Now going on to the other side, these were a little bit more difficult to swatch because I had to use my left hand, so I'm sorry if they look a little sloppy. We're going to go ahead and start off with Buff. This one right here is Drizzle, and then we have Truffle. Then we move on to this side right here. Here we have Grounded, Black Plum, and Blackout. We also have Vanilla swatched right here, pretty much like across my knuckles, or right against them I should say, but you guys, again, probably cannot see that shade. Okay guys, so that was pretty much it. Honestly, I mean, I think the swatches speak for themselves. This palette was not, I mean, there is some good shades in here, but when I was using it, I just found it a little too hard to work with. I was having to do more work and effort than I should have to, especially, I don't know, especially for the price of it, and being that the first one was so amazing to me, I figured this one was going to be the same, but definitely not recommended by me. I probably am going to be, or not probably, I'm definitely going to be returning this because I'm not going to keep something that I'm not completely satisfied with. Again, I've only used this 2 or 3 times, and I just found it very, very difficult to work with overall. But anyways, that was my review for this palette, you guys. If you haven't seen my haul video about the new holiday sets that are being released, that is down below, so go and watch that. I'll leave the link for you so that you can find it very easily. And if you're not subscribed, make sure that you do so that you can stay up to date with everything that's going to be coming out. I am trying to get more consistent. I'm not going to make any promises. I'm just going to really focus on getting it done this time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time.